Hello, I'm Scooter. I'm a fursuit maker, and I'm going to show you how to make a fursuit. I'm going to try to make this tutorial not very long, and this first video will probably just be about the base. I'm not going to do a full fursuit in this one video. So for this first video, doing the base, I'm just going to go through what you need real quick. So I make my fursuits with the balaclava method, which means the liner will be done for you already because you're building off of the liner, but you will need a mannequin head. So if you don't have a mannequin head, I don't really think you'll be able to do this tutorial. A mannequin head I recommend is the Monster Maker's Ed head, but you cannot do this method without a mannequin head. You can apply some of this with the bucket head, but I don't know, I just don't like bucket heads. They're kind of stupid, whatever. So for my bases, basically the liner will be done, the eyes will be installed before the fur, and I will also be using 3D printed parts. I will not be showing you how to make eye blanks that are not 3D printed because I just don't do that. Other than that, I think that's all I have to say. So you'll just need that mannequin head, and you might need to find another tutorial if you don't have a 3D printer for the parts that I will be 3D printing. So other than that, I think we're good. All I ask when you watch this tutorial is don't just exactly copy everything about my style. Just don't literally make the exact same thing I'm gonna be making in this video. Okay, yeah, I think that's all we need. So I guess let's go downstairs and I will show you what I've done and what we're going to do.
I've tried to record this 3 times, but I keep yapping. Straight to the point. Before you start working on the foam or anything, get your mannequin head, get your balaclava, and get some eye blanks. This balaclava, I just made a sprinkly, kind of big balaclava shaped thing on paper in my pattern. I made sure this is actually folded over so that there's no seam in front of the face, and just go on the edge of the fabric, fold it, and then make the seam on the back. Do a nice, I just did a zigzag stitch and I pulled on it real hard. It's not going anywhere, so this is a nice secure balaclava. Make sure that when you put it on, it's not too tight. A 4-way stretch is really important, so yeah, there's your balaclava. That's what you'll need. Don't worry about the eye holes or anything. That will be dealt with later. Just like this. It's fine. So then we've got our eye blanks. These are my test pair, but you're going to want to make sure your eye blanks are ready to actually install. You're going to install your eyes before tape or fur or anything, because you want them to be symmetrical and you want them to be really in there. You don't want them going anywhere. If you install them after you fur the head, you risk getting glue everywhere and they're not going to be as even because you're having to work so fast. So just install them before. If you have 2D eyes, disregard. You can install them later. Okay, that out of the way, I think we're ready to start actually working. So I'm going to show you some of the shapes that I use. This is my eyebrow piece. I flip it, but yeah, this is my eyebrow piece. It kind of just goes right there. I usually make this out of 1 inch because my blanks are 1 inch, so I want them to sit in there right. So I'm gonna make this out of 1 inch. This is my cheek, and you can see those pretty much go pretty well together right there. That's my cheek. This is the jaw. I usually make 2 of these on 1 inch, and I just again flip it, cut it out. So these are eyebrows. It can either be 1 inch or 1/2 inch, however you want them to be. I've got a nose bridge. This helps the muzzle flow into the rest of the head. The eyebrow piece usually is 1/2 inch. These are cheekbones. I find that if you want it to look like it's smiling, these cheekbones are really important. So that's what I do. And this is a muzzle template, but you can actually just do whatever you want. I usually use this 3-inch foam, but this is a little more high density than this stuff, so this stuff is squishier and lighter, and this is a little heavier, but this one's been hollowed out, so it doesn't matter, and there's fur and everything all over it. I think that's basically it. The ears I don't really have a template for because they're different for every head. So, alright, I'm going to be making 3 heads at once, so I've got 3 eyebrows. I'm going to trace these, and then I'll be back. So for my head, I'm going to be doing the same foam for my muzzle. I'm not going to use the 3-inch. So yeah, I'm going to start with the muzzle because the muzzle is the thing I like to do first. Once the muzzle is firmly in place, then I know where to put everything else and start doing that. So I'm going to quickly do my muzzle. Take your 4 muzzle pieces, put them together. I put a line of glue here, here and here, but I don't really do much on the inside because we're going to hollow out the inside anyways. You can always go back and reinforce, but I like to put a very small amount of glue at first so I don't have to cut it to glue all the time, and then you can go back and reinforce it. But it's going to look like that, and then I'm going to basically just carve it, so yeah. Okay, so here's my muzzle. I went for 20 minutes. It's not perfect, but I will adjust it further after everything else is on my head. But what's important is that one, it's like as symmetrical as you can get it. You really want it to be symmetrical. Basically what you're going to want to make sure is that it's hollowed out. You want this to be hollowed out like as much as you can. But basically just hollow it out. And then the nose area, where the nose is going to sit, you want to make sure that there's a little notch right here, and that there's no hot glue that's like sticking out or like really hard. I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to only really put it above like where the nose will be and kind of on the muzzle, but I don't want to put too much right here because I will end up cutting out the smile, and if there's a lot of glue in there, it's going to cause an issue, because what we're going to do after everything's put in, we're going to cut out where the eyes and the mouth are, and we want enough fabric that doesn't have glue on it so that we can later do a ladder stitch to make a clean attachment for the inside of the mouth to the balaclava itself. You can either add the cheeks now, or you can add the brow bone now. I think I'm going to add the brow bone first. I'm going to put glue right here, but I'm not going to go too close to this eye right here. So there's plenty of fabric that we can later ladder stitch, but around the edges and the nose bridge, like right in the middle of the eyes, that's what we're gonna do. But okay, I got tired of like changing my YouTube every time, so I like cast it to my TV. So this is on. I'm using pins because sometimes you just don't want to hold it, so I'm using pins. So these are my cheek pieces. The long piece will go down and under the, well, I guess we can do it on the other side. That will go against the muzzle. This will go back, and then that will go down where the jaw will be. I don't know how to show that any better, but, and again, the same thing as before. The edge where it meets the muzzle, like this entire area right here, I'm gonna keep without glue because we'll end up cutting that off later to make the smile. So I'm mostly just gonna be putting glue around the edge, not even on the jaw much, so basically just around here. And then the entire inside portion will have no glue. I'm also going to take some clips, and I'm going to basically take this neck area and like pull it back. Basically that'll just make the shape of the jaw even more defined. So this is what I've done. So basically this eye is just resting against the muzzle and the cheek and everything. You want to make sure it's like nice and tight in there, it's not going to fall out. So I've got the eyes installed, and now that the eyes are installed, it's, well, not installed, they're just in there for now. But now we know where they're going to be, and now everything else will be. So the next thing I'm going to tackle is getting the jaw in place. So here's our jaw. I actually cut off a little bit because it was too long, but our jaw. But so this is our jaw, and it's the same, it's about the same thickness. You don't want your jaw to be too thin or too thick, I guess. This jaw will kind of just go like that, but we're gonna need to adjust it a bit. So for example, we don't want it to be like straight. If you want it to be straighter, I'm probably gonna do a little straighter because I'd like him not have his mouth completely open, but so I'm going to basically just prepare to glue this on. You're gonna want to make sure you leave plenty of space because the fur is going to bulk it up at least 1 millimeter, which may not seem like a lot, but it's gonna bulk up. So you're gonna want to make sure it's not like exactly pressed together because this is gonna leave no room and it's gonna be like really tight. So make sure you've got plenty of room for that fur to bulk up. Okay, so I've got the jaw. It's firmly attached, so it's in place now, and there's a nice gap between, but I'm still going to adjust the mouth more, so. Something that I will recommend is speaker grill foam. This is the same stuff as this, but it's just really thin, and this is really good for, like, doing very precise adjustments. For example, I will probably take a shape and go on the front of the jaw, or the muzzle right here, just to give it more of, like, precise look that I want. I've done this before, so because I don't want to add too much foam onto it and make it heavier and make it bulkier, but I just want to get like a better shape. So I recommend this a lot. You can also use it in like tiny little areas like this, just take scraps and fill in this little gap right here. So I recommend this. If you can get this, do this. This literally came in the package when I got my new drawing tablet. This was on top protecting the screen. So I've just been using little bits of it to kind of adjust stuff. But yeah, this stuff is great, and I recommend it a lot. It's simple. So I got the jaw on, and basically what I'm going to do next is I'm going to tackle the smile right here. So basically I'm going to adjust the smile, and I'm also going to get my cheekbones and make sure they're nice. But so basically I'm just going to go up here, and I want the smile to be like right up here. Like, you want it to be evident from the front that this character is like smiling. If you want it to be like frowning, whatever. Basically what I'm gonna do is like, I don't know how I can show this very well. Well, I'm still working on it. But yeah, all of this needs to come up. This bottom jaw needs to come up like that. I think what I'm gonna do right now is actually add this cheekbone. So now I'm just gonna like, basically go like that. I'm gonna go like that, and then this is just kind of hard to explain, but I just really want to cut the smile into it, and I will show you after the fact because I like need the lock in. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'll be back. Here we go. Smile cut out. This is still hanging down, but that'll be removed. But smile cut out. This is a nice. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's a nice smile. So this is very smooth into here, so I'll be able to. I don't want it to be like too sharp of a cutoff, or else the minky or fleece or whatever. Yeah, whatever. I'm trying to make him a lot smaller than his current head, which is not huge, but it's still a little bigger than I wanted. So this one's gonna be more slim. So that's why I'm not adding any more to the cheeks. Also, that fur, I'm going to be leaving the fur long here, so that will, in return, puff up these cheeks. So the cheeks will get fluffier, so it's not going to be an issue. So now I'm gonna work on the eyebrows. I'm just gonna take these like bean shapes, and I'm just gonna put them up here. I don't want the eyebrows to be too chunky, but I do want them to be defined. I don't want this to be flat. So I'm just gonna go like this. I'm going to just place it at the edge of the eye up here. I don't really know how to show that very well, but I'm just gonna place it up here. I'm going to glue it down, and then I'm going to shave it. And then I'm also going to take this, and I'm going to shave that so it goes into the rest of the head. If you need to add a little bit more to kind of help it go in, I'm going to add a little bit more over where the cheek and the brow meet. But I'm just going to, again, carve this down using little slits and make sure I'm checking to make sure it's even. But again, I'm just going to start sculpting the eyebrows. The eyebrows and everything have been shaped. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus on the muzzle again, because I don't like the shape of it in the front. It looks like he's too open, like you can see that like O shape, and I don't like it. I'm going to take my speaker grill foam, and I'm going to cut out a shape kind of like this. And what I'm going to do with this will be in the middle, and then it will kind of like go down. It almost looks like a mustache, but it'll kind of go down and then be glued like that. But that will add that, I guess, like you could just say like W-ish shape to the muzzle, and it'll make it look a lot more natural. It'll give a lot more natural of a shape in the front. I just got 2 unskippable lines in a row. Okay, anyways, okay, what I've done so far is I've just went in with my black foam. I did the little nose bridge here, because I didn't want to add too much of a nose bridge to make the nose look any, or the muzzle look any shorter, so just a little bit of a transition between there. And then on the front of the muzzle, I basically added like a mustache in a way, but it makes the muzzle, like, it's kind of hard to see because it's black, but it makes it look a lot better of a shape. It's like that. That's how I like it. These gaps I filled right here. Next, I'm gonna give him a nose. When you're doing the nose, I have started doing the nose before I fur it. I literally build it right onto the base and add the fur around, and then ladder stitch it when I'm done. On 3.0, I didn't make the nose stick out enough, and when I added that fur, it kind of made it look smaller and shorter. So I'm gonna make sure the nose sticks out plenty, and it doesn't get lost in that fur. I will be adding a magnet inside the mouth. I usually just go right here, not too close to the mouth so it like hits you, but like right in the middle, kind of right here, because I like to have my tongue be removable. it makes it easier to clean and stuff like that. You can swap them out. So for the nose, I'm just gonna get like some scraps. I'm going to start working on the ears. So for the ears, he's gonna have floppy ears, but it's kind of the same for tall ears. Only thing that I would say that you need to watch for when you're doing the ears is don't make them too thin because they will flop over. If you have taller ears, the bigger your ears are, the more you want to reinforce them to make sure that they won't fall over. One thing that bugs me that people do is they make them just flat on the side of the head. They just kind of like come off when in real life they are supposed to curve. Of course you can do whatever the fuck you want, I don't care. So yeah, for the floppy ears, I'm just gonna like make the front part about this size and then the rest of it will flop down. So I've got to make sure that I position them right and also accommodate for how fluffy they're gonna get, but so far this is fire. So next day, my eyes have, the glue was dry, so they're on there. I usually wait to put in my teeth, but what we're going to be doing is lining the inside of the mouth, and this can be kind of intricate or tricky, but it's just kind of the way I do it. It's the way that I found works for me, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so actually I went ahead and redid the nose. This is kind of what I did with the possum, where I actually like kind of carved some details in. The reason I like doing my noses this way is because I don't have to sew. I mean, I don't have to like make a pattern and then sew it. So what I'm actually gonna do is, after this is glued on, I will actually just take my brown. I think I'm gonna go with brown. I'm basically just gonna take like a square of brown, make sure there's plenty of space around the edges, and I'm just gonna like put glue and then press it down and make sure it like adheres to the shape, like make sure it gets in those grooves. And I'm gonna do one, and then mostly I'll do like another on top, and then I will cut really close to where they meet, and then I'll be able to sew that. And honestly, it's just easier, just do a ladder stitch and then pull it shut, and I just like doing that more. I just don't like patterning. If I don't have to pattern something, I don't want to. Like, I won't, because it's wasteful and it's annoying to do. So I'm gonna take two. These are just like regular pieces of fleece. So basically I want to make sure it has like plenty of space. Like, there's so much space. And basically what we're gonna do is make sure that when we're gluing, we're not gluing all the way to the edge of the fleece. That also includes leaving plenty of space around the nose itself and the base, because later we're gonna ladder stitch this together. And when you're ladder stitching, you don't want to ladder stitch through glue, because the glue is gonna make it stiff and it's not gonna go together well. And that's why I like fleece so much, because it's really forgiving and you can ladder stitch it and it'll look like literally nothing. You can't see the seam. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so now that's done, and you can see there's just barely any, you know, it's cut right together, but so now that'll be able to be ladder stitched, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to wait because I'm also going to ladder stitch the inside of the mouth. Now, the inside of the mouth can be kind of tricky, and also it depends on like what the shape is. Mine are usually flat enough where I don't have to make any darts or anything. I can just put glue in there and, oh, why did I just do that? I can just put glue in there and I can glue the fleece down and it'll be fine. I'm gonna use a magnet. Okay, so for example, these are just the magnets I'm gonna use. It's not really that important that they be like super strong, because this is just like a tongue. It's literally gonna only be going through one layer of fabric in my case. And honestly, I want it to be easily removable, so the trickiest part of doing the mouth is just going to be sewing it, and if you want, you can get a curved needle. I honestly don't really, because this face is so squishy, I can just, you know, whatever. But we're going to be doing the inside of the mouth now, and it can be a little difficult, so I'm going to take my diamond Sharpie, and I'm just going to trace where I want the tongue magnet to be. So I'm just going to like, and that's just gonna lay flat in there right there. You don't want any glue above the magnet. The fleece is gonna be it, but that's just gonna lay on top. So I'm gonna cut the mouth fabric. I'm just gonna cut the liner, and then I'm going to cut it out, but I'm gonna leave a lot of seam allowance. You can see that the mouth, let's go ahead and see if it's all black. Well, we've got that seam allowance. It's definitely more than we need. We will not need that much probably, but I'm gonna wait. So, and that's why it's so important that this is not glued on. So there's gonna not be any like hard glue around the mouth as much as you can. Okay, so what I did for the eyes actually is I cut it, but I didn't like trim it. And that's because I want this a little bit to be able to hold on to, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch the fabric. I'm going to put some glue down and I will stretch the fabric. And on the inside it'll look nice, and then I'll be able to glue the eye in, and hopefully it'll have a pretty good, it'll look pretty good on the inside. What I'm doing is I'm just going to take like black, and you can pattern this if you want. And I want this big like amount of piece I choose to be able to go like into this smile line right here, and I want quite a bit hanging out. So I'm like, I'll just take this piece and then I'll kind of feed it in so you can see that it's like in those smile lines. I'm just going to cut this. That's basically what I want. And if you want, you can install your teeth now. If you're gonna sew on some teeth, do that now. So I'm gonna start, I'm just gonna go right around the edges of that magnet. So now I'm just gonna go and do the smile. The smile is gonna be a little bit tricky because again, you want a bunch of free fleece that isn't glued. Honestly, the stitching will keep everything together in place pretty good, so I'm just going to use a very sparing amount of glue. Okay, now that we've got that in, we can work on the top lip. And literally this is just going to be the same thing. Same thing, just put it in there, glue it in, leave plenty of space to sew. So I'm not going to record that part. I will be right back. So I cut away a bit of the liner in front because I end up cutting it away anyways when I do the rest of the neck and everything, just so I can reach a little better. You can like pin this away if you want. But basically what I did is I just cut away where the mouth liner and the head liner meet. You can see that. Just enough where I'll be able to stitch them together. The inside is stretchy. Now is going to be the time to do your stitching. I left enough, these are kind of overlapping where the two pieces meet, but there's plenty there to sew it, so I'm just going to do that. Basically, it's not too hard. I usually do the sides of the mouth first, and then I go to the inside, whatever you want. And it's going to be kind of hard to get into, but just get yourself a nice light and go in there. It doesn't have to be too pretty. I will show you the result when I'm back, so, because that will take forever. This takes a while. So here's the nose. As you can see, that's stitch literally barely visible. Over time, as the fleece kind of puffs out, it'll look even smoother, but yeah, that's that. And this was done with gray, and you can't see any of the gray. Over here is the knot, and I make sure it's very secure, but yeah, this nose, that's not going anywhere. The key to making your ladder stitches look good is just do tiny stitches. Do like tiny stitches and do like 4 at a time, and then hold the fabric in place nice as you're pulling it through. And then it should be fine. And that's just how you get it to look pretty clean. So yeah, I've got the nose all ladder stitched, and the inside of the mouth, it doesn't have to be 100% pretty. It's actually kind of ugly a little bit. You can see that in there. It doesn't have to be pretty, but if it's comfortable, that's all that matters. You can kind of see the knots in the side where I knotted the thread. I would rather have the knot be visible and I know it be secure than try to hide it and have it fall apart. So basically what I'm going to do is, I don't really need too much, but what I recommend is getting like a Sharpie or something, because then you can like press down on the glue area where there's glue underneath and you won't burn yourself. Basically I'm just going to carefully go and glue this and make sure that liner material is firmly secured to the eye. And it should look pretty clean on the inside when I do that. So here's the fun part. That's actually not fun, that's scary. Actually installing the eyes. The liner might make the entrance like a little tight, but honestly just like squish and stretch until blanket goes in there. Look at it. Now that's in there. That's not gonna go anywhere. You want these to be as even as possible. Like, do not cheap out here. Like, take your time to make sure they're even, because like, one, eyeballs being uneven. Whenever you take a selfie or something in your suit or you see a flipped photo, you will see it and it will piss you off. Okay, now the scary part, which isn't too bad. Basically we're just gonna like pinch back the foam and then just squish a ton of glue in there. gonna start with the corner over here because there's a lot of empty space. Okay, so basically, I guess that's it for the base. I don't really think there's much else. The mouth is sewn, the nose is sewn, eyes are glued in. So he's basically ready for fur. By now, if you want to make the tongue and the teeth, feel free. I can't make the tongue yet because I need to still get some fabric. I don't have the right color of fleece. He's ready to be furred. In total, I'd say this took 6 to 8 hours. Not too much. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments if you are even watching to this point, and I will try my best to answer them, but sometimes it's just better to say it in a video, so I don't know, I can make some shorts or something. But basically that's your base, and you're ready to start taping and furring, and I will try to get those videos out as soon as possible, but I'm starting school, so I don't know how much time I will have. But, yeah. Okay, thanks.